We are now live. Let's give the stream a few seconds to get out to the internet, and we will get this party started. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I'm looking forward to this week's matchups because this is where it all, comes to a head. We've got our wonderful Chaos Week, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the records right now.
Wait, which week is it? We haven't spun the wheel yet, Sil.
Yeah, the red segments are definitely Earth.
So, without further ado, I think it's time to figure out which element we're doing. Well, it's chaos.
I was really hoping for Earth. I'm so sad.
So yeah, this week, unlike the previous weeks, there are no incentivized fiend dungeons. So there's one extra loose item somewhere out there in the world waiting for you to find it.
Routing is weird. It's really great. Of course, more importantly, at this point being the last week of Swiss, there's a lot at stake right now. Two runners already have 5 wins. There's legitimately nothing at stake for them but seeding. Sonny Rath and I will be in brackets waiting for 14 other competitors to come get us. There are a total of 12 runners sitting at 4 wins and 1 loss. 6 of them will enjoy a free trip to the brackets, no questions asked, but only if they can vanquish their opponents. The other 6 runners will drop into the last chance qualification race, where there will be 8 spots up for grabs with those 8 runners, along with 12 winners, along with 8 other winners from the 3 and 2 matchups, and 1 lucky person out of 21 runners who will be at 3 and 3.
Everyone else can just relax, chill out, have fun later. Watch a race, com a race, restream a race, track a race.
Only one more week left of this, over 30 races a week to get broadcasted. So thanks everyone for all the support from the entire community to get these races up on the air. And shall we begin rolling?
Indeed. I'm going to hit the refresh button one last time, and we will start reading off our pairings. Alright. This thing knows what we want. We're starting off with the admin grudge match. Silverfire versus Lord Fizzlebeef.
That's a grudge match, right?
One more admin grudge match for the tournament, huh? Wow. Both runners making it to 3 and 2 in very interesting fashion in week 5. Silverfire knocking off, I believe in week 5, last I checked. And Lord Fizzlebeef ended up taking his second loss of the tournament in very dramatic fashion.
So yeah, this is going to be a race to watch. Coming up next, we have Thunderclawed versus Groggy Dog.
Oh, this should be a fun little matchup. Groggy Dog, hard charging. Thunderclaw's been sort of had a hell of a run at OSV, and 4 and 1 has had a hell of a run here as well. So this should be a lot of fun.
We have Kuketsuki versus Russian Bishop.
These are two runners that have kind of, I want to say, actually done pretty, like, come from a place of kind of relative unknown, but like have put on a real good showing this tournament, just like in looking at like their completion times. So this is going to be a good match to watch, I think.
Kenny Starr versus the real Super Pleb.
This should be a fun run between two newer runners here. I know both of them got off to slow starts, as one will often do when one is new in a Swiss tournament, but they both bounced back really nicely. And both of them are probably trying to charge. I believe they're both trying to charge back from 1 and 3 here to get to 3 and 3, and so they're going to get their shot at each other.
Yeah, our 2 and 3 runners are all like going to be desperately crawling for that one last chance to make it into brackets. And so it's going to be exciting to watch people pull out every last strategy they have to just try to get that one chance to make it. And of course, if you're 4-1 right now, you've got your trip out of the Grand Melee to avoid. So you have runners like Will Bloodworth versus Tarnin.
Is this the battle of the thief lovers?
I think so.
I'm not restreaming this one. There's a chance.
We're gonna have to make sure to grab like an 8-hour block on some channel for this.
Yeah, this is gonna be
mad restreamer.
Yeah, they both like running intriguing parties, bad parties, solo thief parties, taking giant sword into Topher parties. I don't know what they were thinking, but this should be a lot of fun for both of them.
There's already shenanigans going down in chat right now. Both of these runners already getting excited for what the heck is going to happen. I can't wait. I might not be able to watch it all live, but I will definitely watch the VOD in like 5 parts.
Yeah, I can't wait for Thief, White Mage, Nun with Fade Band. I can't.
And on the exact opposite side of the 4-1 pool, we have Cheeseinator versus Ganon's Gone Wild.
So, Ganon's Gone Wild benefited a little bit from Crabcake's taking a fall to Tiamat 1, not the first runner to bite it on Tiamat 1. Cheeseinator, also one of those runners who has fallen prey to the initial Fiend of the Wind to take their one loss. Ganon's Gone Wild coming to us from Z3R, and is a really good runner overall. Has shown some resilience here. Cheeseinator, of course, is the first runner to sub-hour last week, just absolutely blowing it up in terms of velocity. So this should be a really interesting matchup. I think Cheese probably has a bit of an edge, but, we said that Crab Cakes had a bit of an edge last week, and look what happened there. So I got nothing.
Either way, this is going to be a match you want to watch. Given everyone both these runners have faced, I definitely could see either of them taking it all the way if they really wanted to. But enough about people who have like brackets or avoiding qualifiers at stake. Let's get into some of the spicy matches. We've got Captain Nerd versus Sledge Kalami at 5. Wow, what are numbers? At 1 and 4. Neither of these runners have anything at stake, so I can't wait to watch some of these matches where it's just everyone having fun.
I went back and watched one of Sledge's races. I'm a little shocked that they're 1-4. They ran good. It's just tough, game hard sometimes. So, a lot of these 1-4 runners are they were just a bad break away from 2-3 or even 3-2, which is just really wild to think about.
Yeah, so many of these races have been so close. Like, we were talking about in basically every single one of these pairings matchups, like, how ridiculous some of these pairings are, because you have so many really talented runners being so paired up, and unfortunately the nature of the game is one of you is going to win, one of you is going to lose. And maybe you just forget to check Armory where the Moss is landing and you lose a race. Not that happened to me or anything. What are you talking about?
I mean, look, one bad break sometimes is all it takes.
Yeah, so, I'm really looking forward to people just having fun on this. But getting back into stakes, we have Shadow Walker versus Elastoid.
So Shadow Walker versus Elastoid is I think Elastoid's kind of exceeded expectations here, and Shadow Walker definitely went into this tournament as one of the people that you could bet on to go extremely deep in this tournament. So this is going to be a real good race to watch. There's going to be I want to say that this is a lot closer now. Seeing how Elastoids perform this tournament, this is a lot. I would say this race is probably going to be a lot closer seeing it now than I would have guessed it to be week 1.
That's fair. Elastoid's only loss was deciding to try to play Will Bloodworth at whack parties, the game, and you really shouldn't do that. Take your mages and blow them up. Shadow Walker's loss was to Kraken. Shadow Walker's loss was to Kraken too.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Squid Rude, Queen of the Dragons Rude. I get the feeling that that's going to be a lot of the story of these 4-1 runners is they could easily not be there if it weren't for just a random Fiend wipe.
Shadow Walker is issuing a correction that the loss was to Chaos.
Oh, that's even worse. Can't you just lose to Kraken 2 like the rest of us?
No, Shadow Walker is better than that.
That's valid.
Anyway, now we've got another 3-2 matchup. These runners are playing to determine who's going to do the last chance qualifier and who has to sit through the play-in race. Otherwise, it's backwards. I forget which one comes first. We've got Cyrodius versus Asher.
Oh my, yeah, Cyrodius has been pushing people. Cyrodius pushed me to the limit in our race. I took a little bit of extra safety I probably shouldn't have and ended up only winning by 11 seconds. Asher is just old hand. Asher's been around the block quite a few times. Yeah, one of these runners going to 3-3, that's not cool. One of these runners is going to be playing for their absolute life, and the other one is, well, still going to be playing for their absolute life, but only need to finish in 8th in a race.
Yeah, these 3-2 matchups are honestly more scary than the other ones because of just the sheer amount of stakes. Speaking of, we have Alemarkin versus Salty Fry with the same rating.
Salty Fry got off to a great start this tournament, sort of fell off a little bit there.
I mean, a lot of us got off to a great start this tournament and fell off.
Alemarkin didn't. Alemarkin got off to a terrible start in this tournament. Started out 0-2, I believe, and is now sitting at 3-2.
Perfectly balanced. as all
It's
things
going to be
should
a real, if Hailmarken makes the bracket off of that, that's an incredible turnaround from a rough early tournament performance.
Yeah, Salty Fry's still not free though. Like, this is not
Not
a
at all.
3-2 walkover by any stretch of the imagination for Elmarkin. Like, he's going to ride the momentum, but there's nothing saying that Salty Fry just won't go off and blow him up. I mean, you name a randomizer, Salty Fry could probably go off and beat someone. So.
I mean, consider Salty Fry's losses were to Thunderclawed and Shadow Walker. So, those are anyone can lose to those two players. So
that's some pretty good company there. Yeah, I mean, Salty Fry's strength of schedule at 15 is actually really good.
Yeah. And also in that 3-2 matchup level, we have Gouda versus J. Coper.
What even is this matchup? Where, like Ailmarkin versus Salty Fry, and then Gouda versus J. Coper? This is like person who's been in every randomizer forever versus person who plays Final Fantasy Randomizer, was relatively new last year, and has been tearing it up, and this is something else. Okay, I'm into this.
Right? Going down into the low stakes, high fun matchups, we've got Brendulicious versus Life Reboot.
So I think Life Reboots. I know Life Reboot entered this as a very new racer. Is starting to post sub 2 hour times now, and that's a fast learn. So I'm real happy to see some of these new racers come in and really start pushing things. Grandulicious is still a lover of the Black Belt Black Mage strats, I think.
I think it was Fighter Black Mage.
He ran Black Belt Black Mage against me, and I've seen him run it in one of his other weeks as well. Okay, so he also does Fighter Black Mage as well. Got it.
Yeah, Spellsat pointing out that Life Reboot is Challenge Champ.
Okay.
So we've got two really good runners here who unfortunately have taken some tough losses, but I look forward to seeing what kinds of shenanigans these two get up to this week.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is certainly the week that they don't have anything on the line. If they want to play it a little weird, then go ahead. Pull out your weird draft that you wanted. Alright, or don't, and try to just show the community, the best strengths you have. So whatever.
Yeah. And those also go for our next matchup, Courant versus Magius.
Courant was very excited to get their first win of the tournament last week.
Mm-hmm.
And Magius has been around a long time. Has been doing a little bit of commentary for the tournament now. Tends to do pretty well, but just I don't think has really turned the corner this year. So we'll see. We'll see about next time.
And we have two more runners at the 2 and 3 trying to get their spot in the bloodbath of the last chance qualifier. We have Wild Ham versus High Spirits.
So High Spirits needs very little introduction. Wild Ham has posted some pretty impressive times for a racer who's sitting at 1 and 4, including a sub 130. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. He's 2 and 3, not 1 and 4. But Wild Ham is Wildham's posted some real solid times, and this is going to be a good. I think this is going to be a great matchup.
Chat is always going to town on the matchup pairing names, and I love them every single week. Never, ever change. But we have Guelph versus Demon RHK.
Not really sure what you're gonna do with this this pair of names, but
Look, Demon Guelph sounds awesome already.
Damn, that was easy. Lots of ups and downs for both of these runners. Certainly, I think they're both stealing their way into 2 and 3. One of them will get the experience of getting to play in that last chance qualifier. Not both of them have been posting ever improving times as well, so this should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and continuing our trend of 2 and 3 runners, we have Cinema Bee versus Grigglypuff.
So Gregley, I would say, is one of the strongest racers that's down in that 2 and 3. Kind of an unfortunate situation that he ended up in it at 2 and 3, but with like some 125 times posted during this tournament. But Cinemavi, I would say probably a little bit disadvantaged in this race, but not so much that it's unwinnable at all. Definitely, underdog, yeah. Unwinnable, not even remotely. There's so many things that can happen. There's so many, Cinemavi's been rapidly improving. So...
Yeah, and I'm honestly not sure if these flags really agree with Grigglypuff, but we'll see if the preparation comes down and he can maintain the line there.
Looks like they are already trying to set up their match in chat. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we get another night 1. Looks like no, but soon.
Usually somebody's been jumping on that let's do the Monday night special on this, and it's been real cool that's been happening.
Yeah. Coming up next, we have Danny versus Devio at the 3 and 2 mark.
I mean, Devio is also kind of hard charged back from 0 and 2 to get 3 wins here, so that's pretty darn good for a very new runner. Danny, of course, another runner who, at least in this community, needs no introduction. Of course, the leader of trackers and commentators alike. She's a pretty good player too, but she's sort of been slipping back in the last couple of weeks against some of the tip-top tier competition. So maybe she could stop the spin here, or maybe she falls to 3 and 3 in what would be a pretty big upset in my mind.
Yeah. Danny, of course, will insist that she has no idea how she got here, but she's good. I hope Devio comes out swinging, because you do not want to underestimate Danny. And we have, mathematically, only one pair up / pair down happening this week. And unfortunately, there's only one 0-5 runner left in the pool. Ali Song is going to be up against Wab in another low stakes, nothing on the line outside of your own pride. Also, shoutouts to Ali Song for playing it out all the way.
Yeah, I mean, Wab hasn't had it easy either. Even though at 1 and 4, Wab's strength of schedule is 16. Wab is not drawn well this tournament. On top of maybe not running so hot in a couple of these races, but man, when your strength of schedule is that high, you're getting beaten by people who are averaging at least, being in the running for the play-in race, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, with the random nature of how this goes, sometimes you're just going to run into circumstances where you're up against really good runners, and you put in the best showing you can. So, Sil, Demi, I need an inside scoop.
What's the inside scoop you're looking for?
What do you know about Rumblefish?
Dude gets around a couple different communities. I've seen him playing Free Enterprise.
What do you think my odds are?
Ooh.
Huh.
I want to say that you've got reasonable odds here, but you can't just go up against a randomizer polyglot and expect them not to adapt quickly.
Mm-hmm.
This matchup is officially Leggy Fish, and
I love you, Leggy, but I don't know what to say at this point in time that's not going to get me in trouble.
Well, at that point, why don't we move on to other things that'll get you in trouble and talk about how you really, really feel about Sonny.
All right, so I need a moment here. I'm going to take the mic for a sec here. So last year at RPG Limit Break, I was setting up to commentate the Dragon Warrior Randomizer run with High Spirits that Silverfire and Sparkover were running, and I was real nervous. I had over a year of commentary under my belt, and I was really, really nervous, and just I didn't know what to do. And we're about maybe 2 hours out, and I'm in the practice room losing my mind with nerves. And Sonny just comes over, and we chat for a little bit. Sonny breaks out his SNES, and he breaks out Puyo Puyo Su, the Japanese version for the SNES. And we sit and we play Puyo Puyo for, a solid 2 hours. And obviously it was exactly what I needed. That commentary, last I had checked, went absolutely swimmingly, and I could not have done it without him. Also, I won that set by 10 games, so I'm going to kick his ass too, so that's how this works.
Gauntlet thrown.
Demi is not afraid of throwing down the gauntlet.
Anyway.
I mean, the only thing I've got at stake this week with my strength of schedule of 18 is if I'm going to be in that 1 line or on that 2 line in the bracket at this point, so I'm not too worried about it.
We have Dark Moon versus Ali Jabrap.
I'm rooting for Team Math. Allie's been around a while. Dark Moon's been around a while. I mean, both of them have... Dark Moon has had some ups and downs this tournament. Allie's had some ups and downs this tournament. This should be a really fun and close matchup, honestly. I think Dark Moon probably takes it by a hair, but, I'm going to be out and out rooting for one of my very good friends in the randomizer community.
We have Black Knight versus Sealy Faye.
Oh, wow. Sealy Faye's been catching a lot of notice this tournament after Faye performed much better than even Faye expected. And I want to say that after taking a slightly rough loss last week, I still think Faye's got this. I think that Faye's been massively improving at this game really fast. Not that Black Knight is any slouch, but And I mean, Black Knight has had some rough pairings as well. With having to go up against like some runners that have posted some incredible times. So, if Black Knight can play the way that he played against like Real Super Pleb or Much Paranoia, you know, Black Knight can really do this. But gonna have to show that improvement that he's had over the course of the tournament.
Yeah, and of course, the winner of this gets to go into the ridiculousness that is the last chance qualifier. Or the loser gets to chill out, relax, not worry about it. And of course, speaking of Much Paranoia, we've got our up-and-coming Much Frog match with the Demon Frog.
Much Frog.
Wow.
Demon Frog was complaining that he was going to draw bad this week, and that didn't seem to happen here. I mean, Much Paranoia now going by Starman Random on Twitch. They are a good runner of Free Enterprise. They made top 16 in the last Free Enterprise tournament, but really, you know, got a couple of wins here, doing all right. Demon Frog, I think, you know, Demon Frog's been snake bit pretty badly, and yeah, Shadow Walker's got the right of it. Demon deserves a break here. I think Demon Frog takes this one. I don't know if Demon Frog takes this one handily, but you know, definitely the clear favorite this week for possibly the first time in his life.
Wow.
Have we just commentator cursed someone like before they've even scheduled their race?
I do good work.
I was gonna say, I feel like Demi's powers of commentary are just that strong that she can curse someone before the race even starts. Speaking of, we have Jazz Raptor versus Burt Reynolds. I don't know why that's a speaking of.
Jazz Raptor's another one of those people at the 2 and 3 that has had a really rough pile of opponents to draw with a strength of schedule of 16.
That's yeah, but played Dangwu right to the limit. 15-second loss to Dang is nothing to sneeze at.
Meanwhile, Burt Reynolds had a 30-second loss to Gregley Puff. So both of these runners, like, you know, one die roll goes a little bit differently, and they could have already been at 3 and 2.
We have the Hangry Canuck versus Durindrise. I almost got it this week. Hell yeah! Look, sometimes you just gotta sit down, look up the stats so we can actually have good commentary. And sometimes your Discord stops working mid-sentence.
Fantastic. I mean,
This is...
Go ahead, Sil.
Okay, Demi was just saying while you couldn't hear us that this is another matchup where one of these runners started off on a tear, went 3-0, and then took some losses, and the other runner, you know, turned around a rough start. So Darren's just picked up a couple wins and is now looking to secure that, you know, to secure that plan. Meanwhile, Canucks had some rough matchups lately, and that's doesn't want to slip down any further.
Yeah, again, the winner of this gets to avoid one of the two bloodbaths that are coming up.
Harder of the two bloodbaths.
Anyway, coming up next, we have Rojo versus Brotster.
This should be really interesting. Brot's another old hand, likes running short parties, likes being fairly aggressive. Rojo, plays a fairly consistent style. Again though, got caught out by Temple of Fiends one week. Same as a lot of runners here. So this one's another one that's going to be kind of intriguing in my mind, just because I think it depends on who's really doing the most preparation. A lot of that's going to come down to just being ready for what these flags throw at you, because you don't get the benefit of such a tight routing as you do on the elemental weeks. Like Fire Week, you're expecting a canoe, right? Sky Week, we're going to get early sky access. Chaos, who knows what you're going to get? It's probably going to suck.
Yeah. The way that these flags shake out, who knows what might happen. Always bet on Marsh.
Never bet on Marsh.
Sometimes bet on Marsh.
This is why you're better than both of us.
Anyway, we have Ava's Ruin versus Zyrak.
And these runners are going to play Final Fantasy IV for Enterprise for Week 6.
I don't think that's allowed in the rules of the tournament.
Yeah, that said, Zyrak Ruin is my new favorite anime.
Yeah, two good, fairly new runners kind of coming out and posting some showings here, and one of them will be 3-3, which will be probably very well deserved, honestly, because it should be a very tough match for both of them.
Yeah, this is another situation of you can never put someone down who's done really well at other randomizers and just kind of transfers that knowledge as best they can to FF1.
Now, we're talking about runners who have shown up here from other communities and really made a splash. How about two runners who are deeply known, deeply loved in this space? Dengwu versus Caleb.
One more time. That's it. That's all you need to know.
This is such a grudge match.
Coming in week 6 with your guaranteed slot in brackets on the line. I cannot wait for this one.
Oh, I am loving every minute of this.
The shade is coming out in chat between the two of them, and I love it.
I expect trash talk. I don't know if I expect shenanigans between these two runners. I believe they're both going to take this very seriously. But man, dang, it's just smack talk and all.
Yeah. I mean, you want a match between two amazing runners. This is yet again another one that you want to watch. So many good matches this week. Just incredible. And speaking of really good matchups, we have Sho Fukumachi versus Crab Cakes.
Opponent to draw Sho. We're sorry. But on the other hand,
On the other
That's
hand,
not a show is not a free opponent for anyone here.
yeah, no, this matchup. Show's got a shot at this one. Let's be real. Crab Cakes has been playing aggressively, and normally her aggressive style is great. It's kind of bitten her this tournament a little bit, and so we'll see. We'll see if Show's even-handed, well-practiced style can take this down, and relegate Crab Cakes to 3-3 potentially, which I think will happen.
Of course, Chad is lamenting the fact that we're not going to get Spell Zap versus Crab Cakes because of this, but
Can't win them all.
you can't win them all. we rolled you up Caleb versus Dengwu. You'll have to be happy with that particular star-crossed match.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is that I had to give you the curveball. Except I just pressed the button once. I don't look. I don't try to play at any of these. You got the curveball one, and I'm proud of that. Shadow Walker, of course, saying Spell Cakes Week 1 brackets are riot. And we'll just have to see how things shake out.
Interestingly enough, Spell Cakes Week 1 in brackets is going to be mathematically impossible, so that's kind of unfortunate.
They're too close in strength of schedule.
And also, since the way the bracket's breaking out, there's 2 5-0s, there'll be 6 5-1s, so that'll be the top half of the bracket, so it'll always be so then the rest of the runners will line out the 9 through 16 seeds.
So, look, you'll just have to hold off for week 2 of brackets for Spell Cakes.
Or one of them takes yet another fall, which is distinctly possible at this point, because both of them have underperformed.
Well,
when the requirement for performance expected is it being the 6-0 player,
Yeah, this is very true. The expectations were very high. I think at the beginning of this tournament, if you were to pick the 2 finalists, and you said, yeah, it'll be Spell Zap and Crab Cakes, I would have said, you're probably right. So, yeah, the expectations were very high for both of these runners, honestly, going into all of this.
Yeah, but it just goes to show the strength of the pool this tournament. And I just want to go around again and thank every single person who signed up, who helped, who's commentated, restreamed, broadcast, etc. And, of course, all of our runners. Speaking of Lord of the Synth not expecting to go 1-4, your opponent this week is Durun. Perfect timing. Obviously, this is a low stakes, let's go out, let's have some fun match. Meme it up. But that's just my opinion.
Memes are not the only way to have fun in this.
I don't understand.
Yeah, Fighter Rainbow is fun.
Like Kevin says, 4-hour trash fires are fun too.
Look, the crowd may not like it, but it's effective, goddammit.
Alright. We've got 3 more pairings to go through. We've got Ragnarok versus Min the Mage.
Wow.
Ragnarok wanting to make up for a close loss to Crab Cakes earlier and still seal that bracket win. Min the Mage, I admittedly know more from the commentary booth.
Yeah, Min the Mage is another 0-2 to 3-2 story here. Got off to a real bad start in this tournament compared to kind of what I believe they were expecting. So, yeah, this will be a lot of fun. This one should be real interesting.
Yeah. And, of course, chat was asking about Spellzap. Hi, Spellzap. You're in chat. You're up against Nova.
God, there's gonna be so many good. There's gonna be so many good runners at 3-3. This is just not fair.
Right?
Chad is hyping it up. This is a rematch from last year, apparently, so this should be real interesting.
Yeah, no. And, like, I've seen both of these runners around. I know both of these runners are really, really good. I'm hoping that this match is incredible. Because what else could it be?
Alright, scratch that. Asher was wrong. Hypes took the year off last year. Batted 280 in the Korean baseball organization, I heard. Wait, what?
Yeah, Grigglypuff saying that he's not looking forward to the last chance qualifier if I can make it through cinema. Yeah, no, that's kind of how I feel about my race too, Griggly. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, sorry, the batting 280 in Korean baseball organization is a joke for the Final Fantasy IV community. I apologize. Wrong joke for the wrong community.
Anyway, our final matchup for the week. Zenobian versus One Fine Day.
I have a feeling Zenobian's going to be very, very motivated this week. Just a thought. Possibly a feeling. That matchup's going to be ridiculous. The One Fine Day, the old school, been around a while, knows the game inside, outside, upside down. Zenobian, one of the more consistent runners through OST. Real good charge to 4-0. Had a very uncharacteristic meltdown last week, and I do not see him repeating that for a long time.
Yep. So, everyone, these are your Week 6 matchups. So much is on the line this week for so many runners. And for the rest of us, we just get to have fun. So, best of luck to everyone. It's been an honor and a pleasure to get here and do all of these pairings for the past month and a half. I've been joined by so many wonderful people each week, and I'm glad I can bookend it with two of the people I love most in this community. Demi, Sil, any last minute thoughts before we let everyone go?
Is there anybody else in the community I need to trash talk right now? Because I think I've hit up everybody I wanted to. Is there anybody else I need to trash talk before we go?
You haven't trash talked me in like at least 45 minutes.
It only takes 3.
Oh no, that's harsh.
Trash talk me?
You're cute and sweet.
Wow!
For those of you in chat that are wondering what that trash talk that Demi sent me, the joke between the two of us is that whenever we practice, she beats me by 3 minutes. This goes across multiple video games.
Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds. Best of luck to everyone who has to go through the meat grinders. And thank you all for being here.